In terms of high growth startups, why are they twice as more likely to be started by people over the age, or entrepreneurs over the age of 55? I find that incredible.
I mean, it was one of the pieces of research that I dug up whilst writing the book. And for me, I think you go through so many lessons when you're a younger entrepreneur. Like, you might come out the blocks. It's that whole old analogy of the young bull versus the old bull. You come out with a passion, you come out with the ability to make sales, to hustle, to have the energy to do the closing and meet new people and new partners. But I think it's only when you've really been involved in 2 or 3 successes, failures, you've had the diversity in the stuff that you've been exposed to, that you really start to understand how you can unlock value in your new ventures and your new chapters. And I think that based on that experience and that wisdom that you gain, you really have the ability to unlock the high growth opportunities when you've had the experience. I was watching I opened a tweet the other day where it spoke about Warren Buffett's fortune, and you'll find that his growth curve up until he was in his 40s, it was decent money, but it was nowhere near that hockey stick that he experienced as he headed towards his 60s, 70s, and then ultimately his 80s. And I think that that's what happens, is that we have this arrogance and we have this sheer will and determination to succeed when we're younger. But I think we only really kick into the successful mindset and how you can unlock value as you become older and wiser. And I think you also start investing in various things that then make your money work better for you. Understand the trades that you need from a partner, understand that you need to put people in managerial positions. And because you've been exposed to some of that stuff, I think that the older we become, the better we become as investors and general business people. And I think that's where you look at stories like Simon Cowell's, where he was bankrupted at one stage, and then you never know if it's PR spin or if it's legitimate. But I remember watching the documentary in the UK when I worked there, around how he was eating Fruit Loops and watching Teletubbies. It sounded like he was on an acid trip, but there was a lot of stuff that he picked up from the music business and his exposure to that within that. And I think that he really unlocked value after having been in the record business, seen how labels launch records. And when you look at things like Idols and you look at X Factor and these actual serials now of content, what they do so well is that they own certain artists as a management company, and then when Idols is on, they start feeding back the artists into the show who've previously won or who are part of the record label, and then they start upselling that to the audience when a new album drops. When One Direction launches their combined album, or when the guys have gone solo, start launching theirs, then we put Louis on the show, and then he's going to push his album. And I think that it's very much like that Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like the guys at Marvel took a comic book series, and then they realized that we're actually going to spin these things out and just make serial after serial, and how everything connects into the universe. And that's where they made their big bucks.
And it works, absolutely.